Good morning, guys. What's up? Welcome back to Project Time Garage. Well, if any of you guys caught the last installment on our 74 Ford F100 where we test drove it and the wheel fell off going down the road, that was eventful. Well, we're back today to try to rectify that situation and at least do a post-mortem teardown, figure out what in the world went wrong. Now the wheel's back on the truck right now, but it's not on the truck. Basically all we did when the wrecker dropped it off here, we lifted it up, took the whole axle assembly, just slid it back in there and set the truck down. So it's not right and it's not even engaged in the pinion, but it's kind of in there, and I think it's in there hopefully enough for me to be able to pull the thing up on the lift. I'm just going to pull it in front wheel drive or in four wheel drive and use it like a front wheel drive truck and try to get up on the lift. Hopefully we won't lose another wheel, but I'll let you guys watch that. Just yell if something goes wrong. Well, we made it in, but the tire, it did walk out some while we were coming up here. See how far it's sitting out there and what a disastrous looking angle it's sitting at versus the other side, which is somewhat neatly tucked. Yeah, it's setting off the lift a little bit on this tire, but I'm not worried about it. As soon as I get it up in the air a little bit, I'm going to stick the trolley jack under it and lift the rear end up. And of course, when the axle goes back together on it, it'll be, you know, back in there a little bit better. So sit it up in the air, take a look at it. New for the 1974 model year, the Extendo Axle Kit helps you avoid road debris with ease. Also, your wheel may fall off. Anyway, that's what happened. Let's buzz a wheel off here so we can actually work with the stupid thing because it's extremely end heavy. And let's see what the carnage looks like. Probably should replace my battery. It doesn't really want to lock in there anymore. Ooh, I already smell pinion oil, like rear end gear oil. You know, that putrid smell. Now, if you ever find yourself in a similar situation as this, just know that when you pull the truck, you know, up somewhere to work on it, and you put it in gear like you normally would or whatever, because there's not going to be a parking brake that's going to work here right now. And the brakes, well, those lines are completely gone. Just know that that the truck will not hold itself in gear because the rear end, you know, it doesn't differential and all. So what I've done is, of course, I've scotched the front tires, but I've also I got it in four-wheel drive and got it in gear as well. As long as it's in four-wheel drive, the transfer case holds the front end. So just know that's a thing. Safety third. Had to put on a shirt that was a little more conducive to a garage environment. So the bearing is pulled off. The retaining collar is gone. Now, I guess it's all still in the axle tube there, but that's actually what happened. It looks like the axle has just walked itself right out of the bearing. Yikes. Well, the end of that's a little chewed up. We'll see how bad it ends up being. I'm more worried about what's going on inside the rear end personally. Well, it's got plenty of goop behind it, that's for sure. So that's pretty well done. I'll need one of those. And yeah, I think that seal is reusable, don't you? Lost my marbles. That's my inner race. Hey, there's that axle retainer that didn't retain, or that bearing retainer finger bobber that didn't retain. It actually looks pretty good. Actually, it looks really clean, honestly. Actually, look at that, R88128. Wonder if that's the right one. Wonder if it's R for wrong. Actually, I thought maybe it destroyed the brake line, but it didn't. Super-de duper. I'll pull that line off, and we'll just pull the whole backing plate out of it and just kind of let it dangle by the parking brake cable. Actually, no, we won't. We'll pull the parking brake cable out of it because this thing will no longer service. Tis bad. I don't know about this. Somebody has put this thing on with, looks like vice grips or maybe a pelican beak, I don't know. But actually it just loosened up somehow. I'm really surprised. I haven't done anything really to the rear end of this truck, really, or the front differential since I've owned it. Huh, look at there. You guys got a smudge on your face. Here, let me help you with that. Oh, that is so much better. Wait. Oh, that's better. Clean faces. Anyway, 6 more hours of this. Actually, now that I got that broke loose, I'm gonna think ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this rear wheel cylinder, and I'm gonna put it back on the line when I'm done so as not to lose all my brake juices. Look at me all thinking ahead and batting 1,000 and everything. Look at there, 1/2 inch, perfect. Oh, no battery on. I'll be right back. So yeah, back to what I was saying about batting 1,000 and doing so perfect. What did I do with my, oh, there it is. So now back to what I was saying about batting 1,000 and doing so good and blah, 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 blah. Yeah. So idea is gonna be to have this thing ready to fall out as soon as this line comes loose, so I can just swap it back around. Lose minimal brake juice. So there's that. We'll yank that. And we'll go right back on here with the wheel cylinder. Well, how does that go back on there? It came off. I mean, it's got to go back on, right? Oh, there we go. All right, there. Now we'll just let it kind of bang around then. Look around. I wonder how much I can bend that before it kinks. About that much right there. Yeah, that'll work. Well, I'm seeing some things here I don't really like. That light may be too much, but right there, that is absolutely a crack on that housing there. I don't know, it doesn't go all the way through, it doesn't look like, and it doesn't extend up into this flange, but this right here is absolutely positively cracked. All right, all cleaned up. Let's see if we can pull that race out of there. Actually, that may not be the actual flange. That may be the bearing race that's cracked. Oh, yeah, that's obviously what's going on. Look at that. Look at that. That bearing race came out in pieces, but luckily it wasn't the actual axle housing that was cracked. So we go further then, right? Well, in trying to figure out what exactly is going on with this thing, I decided to go over to the other side and just pull it apart and just see what we've got. Wait, you guys have a dirty face again. Let's try that. Better, better. And here's what this side looks like. There's my inner bearing, or my inner seal that looks somewhat new. And there's that, I guess that's a retainer. I don't know my Ford 9-inches at all. Brakes, I did brakes on this thing, so the brakes are in good shape. They work. And I was looking at this axle, and that all looks somewhat new too. But am I wrong, or are these collars usually a lot thicker than that? I don't know, everything I'm looking at says different. So so I decided to investigate a little bit more to see what exactly I do have in the way of what's my rear end? So I found the tag on the rear end. It was right there where that bolt's missing because I just took it off. Put it on the whiz wheel and cleaned it up just a little bit, and that's probably too bright, isn't it? And it says it's WDM-AK, which means it's a 73 to, I think, 76 Ford F100 with the 9-inch rear end, 3.5-inch gear ratio. See what a wealth of knowledge I am on Ford 9-inch? Yeah, I Googled it. So I do know that it's Ford 9-inch. I do know that it is a 3.5 ratio. I should be able to buy some parts based on that, I would think. So I'm going to have a look at the O'Reilly website. The thing I don't know, though, is this piece right here. I mean, I assume that comes out. I really don't know. I mean, I'm not even sure any of this is right. Who knows? But is there not an inner seal and an outer seal on these things? I don't know. Well, at the risk of doing something pretty stupid, I've made a decision, and the decision is this rear end is not going to work. All of this in here is just chewed all to pieces, and this is where that inner seal sits and all that stuff. It's just destroyed. So I don't feel like that's smart to keep using that. So I've decided that the rear end's coming out, and I actually have a replacement rear end. And here in a minute, I'm going to show you my rear end. Right now you can see this rear end. This is my old rear end, but I'll show you my new rear end here in a minute. You're gonna be amazed. Deal is, at this point, we've got the truck sitting on jack stands across that 6x6 there. I have weight kind of distributed between the 6x6 and the trolley jack. Axles are still out of it. I'm gonna jump under there here in a second. I'm gonna buzz that center section out, zip the shocks off of it, and we're gonna drop that housing, because the housing is a whole lot easier to deal with than the whole rear end. and we're gonna just slam the new one home. That one comes out okay. Man alive. Yeah. These are like little copper washers that are real soft, and they won't even come off the bolt. Sure won't. That must be what's holding on. Look at that right there. They won't even come off at all. Holy shit. Hopefully if I can just get a few of these off, I'll be okay. Not even sure this is what's holding either.
It might be easy to just take the whole thing out then.
Well, I think you're probably right. I think you're probably
At
right.
this point, it's going to be easier probably just to put it on the ground. And
I'm not sure I'm going to take it out. I think I'm going to set the other one back in there. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
All right, shocks are free. This brake hose right here is got to go. And I'm trying to decide if I'm going to take it loose on this side or if I'm going to take it loose up here. Are we ready for this?
Yeah.
Are we sure? I mean, are we ready for what's about to happen? This is new leaf springs, new U-bolts, and all this stuff's new. Like I bought the springs as part of the lift when I bought it. So it's all new stuff. Let's see where these just go out. Probably about out. Found it. Should be that. Should be able to just ease the rear end out from under it now, right? You know what I should have done? I screwed up here actually. Really, really bad. You know what? Because these are completely unbolted and it's halfway sitting on this. Right? It is. What's it gonna do? Why is it going one side? Is it all the way up? Oh yeah, let's lift it up. Okay. I need my thing here before it tries to flip out from under it. We're heading for the frame. Just going to try to probably just fall forward. all the way down. Now it's, once again, I wouldn't pull it on the lock thing. Done.
Fall backward.
As long as it falls, right? Okay. Should be just a matter of lifting this out, lift the new one in. Guess we can just keep going the direction it wants to go. Backward, right? Oh shit, oh shit. Scared me. I thought I was gonna try to, boy, that would make a mess, wouldn't it?
Can't follow these struts.
Oh God. All right, we're going just straight out the back, right? Can you grab one side and I grab one side? Just make it to the floor is all we gotta do. Done. Let's see, look at my rear end. All right, we better get our rear ends in gear here. Yeah, I'm gonna do this all through the whole video, so just be ready. This is about how it came out with it.
It's got to go up, right?
Yeah, that right there is going to go in that hole.
Now the shock's in your way from doing that.
The shock's in my way of everything. Told you we should have pulled these shocks completely off. Jack's gonna go down some? Probably. More. Oh, there you go. A little pressure on it. I believe my glove has had it.
Oh, yep.
This one's okay for now. You're smelling a rubber smell. Where am I smelling that from? Not the gloves either. It smells like air bladder or something.
Huh. That old air filter you had in here?
What is this? Very pronounced smell. That is everything but a center section back in it. Okay, let's do this then. Let's set it down and get our pads back on it and get it lifted back in the air, you know, with the rear end, now that we're somewhat safe again. So yeah, I'm going to use this center section that came with the rear end I just bought because it's the same ratio. It doesn't have as much slop as mine's got. So that's the idea. This is the hard part right here. All right, got a safety bolt on it. At least it's not going to fall out and hurt anybody. Well, fast forward about, I don't know, 3 months later or something like that. And the rear end's in. And it's there. And it it works, and it's technically the wrong rear end. So you just have the small axles and the small flanges and the small brakes and all that stuff. It'd be fine. It'd be fine. It'd be fine. I was gonna leave it, okay? I was gonna leave it, but well, some other things happen. Check this out. I know, right? I know what you're thinking. I just already know what you're thinking. And yes, that is one high quality thing. So my dad was at an auction, and they had this beauty sitting on the absolute auction row. Yep, she's a trailer. Yep, she used to be a truck at one point. The thing about it was, the bed is straight. You know, it's got some gross paint and stuff like that, but if you'll notice, it doesn't have any rust the way most of them do. Even back here, there's no rust. And the strip there on the side where the trim goes, all the clips are there. And all the clips are there because I popped the trim off so I didn't tear it up, because the trim is nice. It's not beat up. So my dad called me and was like, hey, they've got a truck bed down here that, you know, looks like yours and is in pretty good shape. And I don't know, I can't remember what this thing was. It's like a couple $100 or something like that. So the goal was, or the game plan was, oh, here's the trim. It's got paint and stuff on it, and you know, needs a little bit of cleaning and brushing, but it's straight and it's there, and it's the only two of those I've got left. But anyway, the goal was to take my my bed off my truck, put that on there and clean it up and make it, you know, a bed without a huge dent in the side. So we bought it, and I got to thinking, I'm like, you know, this thing is in such good shape that I think it's been a trailer for a long, long time, which means it's possible that that rear end is in pretty good shape. And the more I look at that rear end, the more I realize that it is in good shape. And it has the big flanges and the big axles. And yeah, you all know what's going to happen here, don't you? We're going to take the rear end out we just took out, and we're going to replace it with that rear end. That's what's going to happen. Will it run? You get a parking brake fixed too. About 4 pumps. Uh-oh. A few more pumps.
Last year. I know that.
Oh yeah. Pretty much always runs. We got it off the trailer and up here, and we checked the tag, and it's correct. It's the right rear end. But you know, you want to kind of do a little bit of looking and seeing before you commit totally. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take that. We're going to back it right in here. I'm going to get that car off, and we're going to bring the lift down we're going to strap to the bed and we're going to lift up, and we're not going to like jack it way up in the air. We're just going to get the pressure off of it, pull the tires, pull the axles, pull the center section. That way we can look at it and make sure that everything looks good and it's not a rust bucket. And at that point we should be able to drop the rear end out from under it easily in the floor here without too much rigmarole. At least that's the game plan. So well, that's what we got. It's pretty, it's safe, OSHA approved. There you go, in the air. All right, it's the next day, and here's how the truck sits as of now. The rear end is under it. It's bolted up. The axles aren't permanently in it at this point. The shocks still aren't hooked up yet. Precariously perched there by jack on the receiver hitch. I've got this axle tube out of it, or this axle shaft out of it. And I was just kind of looking at the condition of the rear end a little closer, and lo and behold, all that stuff there, that's Ford OEM stuff. You can tell by looking at this backing plate here, this wasn't leaking. I'm not sure how that is, but this rear end, it didn't have any leaks to it. And the fluid that came out of it was completely clean. You could actually see right through it. No water, clean fluid. I cleaned the bearing. I was going to replace the axle seals while I had it apart, but I looked in there and the axle seals are Ford OEM and they don't leak. So I'll be honest, I don't think I'm going to do it. Now, I've got to replace about everything else, and I may regret this. Some of you guys are going to say you should be replacing everything while you got it apart, and I may agree with you on that, but in my experience that the OEM stuff is good, especially with not a lot of miles on it. So I'm going to leave those seals for now. I think this rear end is in good shape. I think it was a good call to do this. So got to make a trip to O'Reilly because I've got to get a little bit of everything. This is the backing plate and the brakes off of the original rear end, the one that came apart and skidded down the road. This is the backing plate off of the good side, the side that didn't smack the pavement. I'm going to go ahead and get 2 brake hardware kits, 2 sets of, or a complete set of brake shoes, replacement gear oil, some more brake line because it tore it off the truck, and just everything that I need to put this thing back together, you know, somewhat right. So my goal for today is just to get the rear end back under it, hooked up and working, so that once again I can, wow, my camera is trying to auto guess what's going on. In the top of the screen it keeps saying infant. My wife might agree. Anyway, that's what I'm going to do today. We're going to get the thing back on the ground and back running and driving. Now, that being said, it won't be 100% today. There's no way, because this drive shaft here, which is the drive shaft that came out of the truck originally, it's too long, and I didn't really realize that. I didn't really realize that until we got it up on the lift after the rear end debacle. I realized that the drive shaft goes in no problem, but it doesn't have any clearance. It's shoved all the way up when the truck's sitting on the ground, and that's not good. So once this rear end is in and tightened down and buckled up and ready to go, I'll get a measurement and take that drive shaft and get it shortened. Probably gonna have to go about 1 inch or something like that. That's what it looks like, but I want this rear end in so I'll know for sure. So also, we got our donor truck bed trailer rear end redneck thing back together. Got our 2 small rear end under it. Tires are back on it, wheels are back on it, and it's pretty much ready to load up and just pull out of here and go sit and wait for me to get to the bedside to work on that. So that package is wrapped up and can go. Next time you see me, I'll be back from O'Reilly with parts. All right, $36,000 later in 2 O'Reilly Auto Parts stores, we have what we should need in order to put this thing back together. Got a new wheel cylinder, got a brake hardware kit, set of shoes for this side. So I'm going to take this thing outside, I'm going to clean it up a little bit, and we'll break it apart, and I think I can reassemble the brakes on this and just set them on there as a unit. We'll see. Okay, that's cleaned up pretty well, at least as well as I'm going to make it. And you know, I want to draw your attention to this red paint here. Clearly that's racing application, seems like. Let's put a wheel cylinder in first. All right, so we have a short brake shoe and a long brake shoe. Just gonna kind of test fit this stuff, see what we've got going on. There's the short one. It's in the front, it's the primary shoe. Got the long brake shoe in the rear, secondary shoe. So far that seems good. Wow, check that out. I bought two of those thinking that was one per side. So this actually is for both sides. Yay. We'll have a adjuster. It's going to orient this direction for this side. Like that. And I never remember which side is which on the adjuster. It's just that there's the little pop-out plug there for the spoon to adjust it, and that's how I remember that. All right, let me see if I can cobble this stuff together in some meaningful way. Do that. Or adjuster. Also, I want to pop out this, what's left of this dust cover. Get it out of the way. Replacement ones in the kit. First thing is first, let's put the parking brake lever on. It goes on like that. And we squeeze it together with some pliers. Alright, that should be that. I'm also going to put just a touch of brake grease on each one of these surfaces here. I'm going to put just a little bit right up here. All these surfaces where everything rides. Here. 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 Here and here. All right, now to get messy, that should go together roughly like that. And then we have our spreader bar, or I think they call this a strut. And actually, I'm not going to use that one. I'm going to use this one because it seems to be, I'll use this one. It's just going to be more of a pain to work with, I think. You know what? This is a part number. I only have one of these struts. I never have had the other one. This is a Bendix part number 316274. So at least I'll know which one that I need for the other side. I assume they're the same. Anyway, I guess I'll go ahead and stick the retainers in so that they stay where they're at and behave. Can he do it by hand? No, he most certainly cannot do it by hand. They have a tool for this. I have one. It is ruined and worthless. Therefore, I don't have one. But I guess on the table you can do them by hand, huh? All right. So that should be that about somewhat near right. The thing I'm going to have trouble with at this point is the parking brake. Truck doesn't have a parking brake, and we're going to remedy that as soon as I get the strut for the other side because I don't have it. All right. That was supposed to be on top, wasn't it? Sure was. Can I just turn it on? Just spin it right there. Yes, it is. All right. Now, let's see about the strut. All right. Then we have this guy. Goes in here. That he goes around this side. That feeds around behind there like that. Okay. Next we'll have this spring, and we'll have the adjuster. I'm going to run this adjuster out a little bit just to put some tension on it so that it stays somewhat in place. All right, self-adjuster. That should be something like this. Clicking that is going to be a monster without my brake drum tool, isn't it? We'll try it like this, but we're probably going to regret it. Nope, not even like that. Like that. All right. That should be brakes pretty much good to go. I'm going to go ahead and wind this adjuster in now so that I can get my shoes on, or my drum on it later. All right. All the slack you need with none of the hassle. All right, that should be the right side done up. Hopefully with any kind of luck, I can just take this right here and just slide it right on the truck. All right, I'm going to redo that for the other side. All right, those are both put back together. Everything should be right. Hopefully with any kind of luck, I'll be able to put the axles on this thing and get it all put back together, you know, assembled like this. Hopefully I didn't shoot myself in the foot by doing this first, but sure seemed easier to do on the table than out in the truck. So all right, I guess I'll go and start to assemble this thing. All right, so the game plan hopefully will be to just set this back on here. Like that. Hopefully we can just slide the axle back in there, get a nut started on these studs, and that'll be that. These axle flanges at the bottom, they have a little divot on them right there, and I believe that's for fluid to drain if your wheel seal were to go bad. Can't find it. There it goes right there. All right. Will it go on in? Sure will. I'm going to get these wound on by finger as far as I can. I know you guys that work on Ford 9-inch stuff all the time probably screamed at the screen the entirety of this video. That's fair. All right, I need to get a torque wrench and figure out what the torque spec is for these and torque them. Move on to the other side. There's that drum back on. Also, you'll notice my emergency brake cable hanging there. I've got to do some work under the truck way before I ever hook any of that stuff up. But that's coming too. Also, you'll notice that the top of that, the spring perches and all, that's not straight. And that's because two of the nuts on this, the U-bolt on the outside here, stripped when I went to put them back on. So I've got to get U-bolts. It's tight, but it's not tight enough. So I definitely have to get U-bolts before I finish this project completely. Just gotta go to the bottom. There we go. All right. I'm gonna buzz that up just a little bit. Maybe help me out. Something like that. All right. Let me get those torqued and then we can put tires back on it. Well, that's got the rear end back under it. Tires are back on it. It's back mobile. Now, I'm waiting on some parts to come so I can hook up the emergency brake and get all that stuff working too. I'm going to go ahead and end this video here because I feel like it's running kind of long. And the goal of the video was to get that rear end swapped back under it and get the truck where it's movable again under its own power. From this point, as I work on it, I can take it in the shop, put it on the lift, get under it, and I don't have to worry about weather and stuff. So feels like a good place to end it. Now, I'm going to try to stay in order on a few projects here. I know that my MO has always been just to kind of jump around from project to project because I have really bad squirrel syndrome. Oh, squirrel. And sometimes, I like to work on a variety of stuff, or sometimes I'm waiting on a lot of parts or whatever and I want to get videos out. But I think I want to start just trying to work more on one thing. So that one thing is going to be this, I believe. Honestly, I would like to be able to drive it around some this winter. So the next video that we have on this is probably going to be making new rear brake hose or rear brake lines. I need to rebend all the lines. The rear has no brakes hooked up at all. I need to take care of shocks because the shocks for it, one of them is locked up and they're both really too short. I need to take care of the drive shaft, get that in there so it can actually turn the back tires and things like that. So we've got a lot to do. Ultimately, the bed that you saw earlier, I'd like to end up putting it on there to kind of fix some of that awfulness that's going on back there, get that kind of cleaned up, and kind of make it at least a straight truck. I'm not going for a show truck, and I'm not going for something to cruise town in. I'm really just, I've always liked it for what it is. I don't care if I get a bump or a bruise or something on it. Hell, it's painted with Rust-Oleum now, so I can rattle can it, make it match, or whatever. Anyway, that's getting off topic. So I've also got the air conditioner for that, all the original Ford parts for the AC. It's a factory AC truck. I'd like to get that set back up also. So I want to do a few videos on it and just kind of get it back to the point where, it's a good running, driving truck again. So that's the goal. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I had a great time making it. I'm dirty, but, that's working on cars some, right? All right, I'll shut up. Appreciate you watching. You guys have a great day. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, tell all your friends about us. And guys, I'll see you next time.